everybody. Today we will talk about air quality in major Indian cities. I will also propose a solution in this video. But first we need to know a few basics. When you measure, then you know. When you know, then you control. There is a measurement system of air quality widely accepted all over the world by major government agencies. In short, it's called Air Quality Index, which is abbreviated as AQI. Air Quality Index or AQI is a number used to convey to the public how polluted the outdoor air is. 0 to 50, air quality is considered satisfactory and air pollution poses little to no risk to health. 51 to 100 is moderate. Air quality is acceptable. However, for some pollutants, there may be a moderate health concern for a very small number of people who are unusually sensitive to air pollution. 101 to 150 is unhealthy for sensitive group. Members of sensitive groups may experience health effects. The general public is not likely to be affected. 151 to 200 is unhealthy. Everyone may begin to experience health effects. Members of sensitive groups may experience more serious health effects. 201 to 300 is very unhealthy. Health warnings of emergency conditions, the entire population is more likely to be affected. Whereas 300 plus is hazardous, with severe health alert. Everyone may experience more serious health effects. In this video, I will talk about Delhi as it's regarded as the most polluted city. At the end, I will also try to propose a solution which is actually used effectively in European cities. But first, let's have a look on a brief comparison between various regions of the world. With exceptions of some big cities like Lima in Peru, the AQI appears quite nice, mostly greens and yellows. Now let's have a look on America and Canada. In America, awareness about air pollution had been significant right from the beginning. Here, government agencies took many precautionary measures to control it, and they were largely successful in doing so. So overall, America also has been able to curb the air pollution impressively despite being the most industrialized country in the whole world. Europe, who set off the Industrial Revolution, looks like this. With few exceptions, the AQI appears excellent at many places in Finland, Norway, Denmark, Germany and Sweden. The AQI is between 1 to 10. And these are the countries who got industrialized centuries ago. Let us have a look on South Asia. Situation in India and China looks grim, full of cities where air quality is hazardous for health for all. In India, there are not many measuring stations, and I have personally experienced bad air quality in few of the small upcoming Indian cities. Let us now concentrate on Delhi and its adjacent areas. This measurement is from end of March, and this is one of the periods no one was talking about air quality. There are cyclic peaks when almost all measuring stations goes to red zone, and at few points shows more than 300, which falls under very unhealthy category, even hazardous, with health warnings of emergency conditions. During these peaks, the entire population is more likely to be affected, and also notice that there are few areas like Ghaziabad and Noida where no readings have been shown, but they are also likely to be quite polluted. The only green zone in Delhi is near the American Embassy in Chanakyapuri. Why is good air quality so rare in Delhi? And what about other cities in India like Mumbai, Bangalore, Kolkata, Hyderabad, Chennai, etc.? If someone assumes that the situation in other big cities are significantly better than Delhi, they are simply making a mistake. The situation is not very good, and these cities are not far behind Delhi. They are catching up fast. So what's the solution? I heard about some measures being taken in Delhi on experimental basis, like either odd or even registration numbered vehicle should be on the road on a particular day. Good initiative. At least something happened on a mass scale. It was much talked about all over the world, but that's not the answer. With 6 to 7% economic growth rate, does it make sense to reduce the number of vehicles on the road? No. Here I am going to propose a solution which could be applicable to any Indian city. The basic philosophy of this solution is gradual replacement instead of gradual reduction. The degree will vary, but the essence of the solution will be the same. Let's consider it. This solution requires some infrastructure to be built, but it yields definite results. With this solution, one can control the level of pollution with rising costs of polluting source. So they should pay toll for the pollution they are creating. Consider Connaught Place as a center and create 3 or 4 concentric automatic tolls, which electronically senses the vehicle entering throughout those points. The figure here is not exact, but just a rough idea about how it should be. Here in Europe, there is a company called Autopass which controls this infrastructure throughout Europe. With each passing point, some predetermined payment request should be registered in vehicle's account. You can see here attached in my dad's Audi. Let me put it this way. Suppose you are traveling from Ghaziabad to Connaught Place. What costs do you incur if you have your own vehicle? I think it's just the cost of fuel. So nothing except the cost of fuel prohibits you from driving from Ghaziabad to Connaught Place. This should not be happening. The toll taxes should be at least 2 to 3 times the price of the petrol or diesel. I think then anyone will think twice or thrice before traveling from Ghaziabad to Connaught Place, or say from Gurgaon to Connaught Place. In this way, there will be a huge amount of fund collected from toll. This fund should be used to subsidize electric cars. Now electric cars with 400 kilometers range are easily available, and just within 2 to 3 years, electric cars having range of around 600 kilometers will be easily available with lower costs. There should be incentives for buying those cars. It will encourage more and more people to buy electric cars. Electric cars and cars running on hydrogen fuel cells should not pay any toll taxes. The number of cars entering and leaving Delhi could easily be controlled by hiking or lowering the toll taxes at various toll points. About 20% of traffic will reduce from day one because of toll expenses. Zero-emission cars will slowly start replacing the traffic. Let us now look at one of the major city toll charges, which works really well to control number of vehicles entering the city. Toll taxes for various vehicles varies on many bases. For example, how old is the vehicle, what emission standard does it comply with, toll is less for less emitting vehicles, is it petrol or diesel powered, diesel is more polluting, so more toll tax. All electric cars don't have any toll tax because they are zero emission vehicles. During rush hour, toll taxes are higher than other times. So in office rush hours, it reaches its peak, and on Saturdays and Sundays it's less. Heavy vehicles have more toll. Once electronic control is in place, toll can be manipulated in any way. Revenue earned should be expended in taking various measures like no taxation on buying electric cars and hydrogen fuel cell cars, which are called zero-emission vehicles. Pushing renewable energy generation financially, highly subsidized solar rooftop power system. Some cities in India, like Chennai and Mumbai, may even think about some wind farms. Make more electric cars and charging infrastructures. Developing separate lanes for public transport, which could also be used by zero-emission vehicles, but not for fossil fuel vehicles. Develop and expand cycling lanes and facilities. I got 2 views during my casual discussion about pollution while my India visit, which I think is very important to respond to. Question 1 is, these things don't work in India, it's not Europe. Then make it Europe. What prohibits in doing so? Many European cities like London were facing the same problem a few decades ago. Now huge improvements have been done in curbing pollution. This system works very well in London, Oslo, and in other European cities. Why not Delhi? Find the reason why and try to find a solution for it. This is probably the only solution to tackle air pollution problem. Why am I saying so? Because it works. No invention is required. No uncertainties are there. Few decades ago, the only technological barrier was commercially available electric cars. But now that last barrier has also fallen. And other technologies like hydrogen fuel cells are on their way too. In Oslo, few public transport buses also run on hydrogen fuel cells. In Amsterdam airport, all buses are solar powered. Just learn the system and implement. India is well on its path to economic development. All major cities are like economic powerhouses. Will air pollution not hamper its capacity to economically prosper for long term? It certainly will. That's why it's important to take preemptive measures as soon as possible. Question 2. The cost is very high for this solution, although I think it will certainly work. My answer to that is, do you know the cost of this sustained air pollution in coming 20 years? Do you? It's not very complex mathematics. Just add the cost of medication, treatment for all those who are directly or indirectly affected by it. Also add the cost of poor quality of life, and the situation is expected to worsen exponentially. It affects rich and poor alike. Pollution makes no discrimination unlike humans. When you say the cost for this solution is high, you don't know what you are talking about. You are simply not doing calculation or just miscalculating. One thing is certain, that you have to pay, either for curbing pollution or on medication and treatment due to pollution. Does it sound good when authorities have to advise children to remain indoors and not play outside due to pollution? It's sad to hear such news in newspapers. Just a strong political will, backed by the public, little pain, little more toll expenses, and the city starts recovering from pollution. I believe this solution has to be implemented after 1 year, after 10 years, or after 100 years. But the sooner it is, the better, and easier it will be. So my strong suggestion, especially for people living in mega cities in India, don't adjust to the pollution. Don't be like the frog in the bowl who just adjusted to the increasing water temperature and ultimately died. React. Revolt. Delhi is the most polluted city, but other cities are not far behind. They are fast catching up. And the same model could be applied in all cities, slowly and steadily. So if I propose that air pollution should be the main issue in upcoming election, you may laugh at me. You may say that there are many other greater issues. But in my view, this is the greatest issue. Needs immediate attention. Thanks for listening, and please subscribe and share.